What's up, nerds, and welcome back to the channel.
It's lonely at the top, I'm tired of having company. So while you busy trying to fit in, I'ma stand out and view my life through this lens to see how it pans out.
Alright, so for those of you that don't know me, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I am a competitive powerlifter in the USAPL, aka that means I am drug-free. Drug-free for life! So I'm a drug-free lifter. I was formerly in the 74 kilo weight class, and I've recently moved up to the 83 kilo or 181 pound weight class. My best squat is 525 pounds. My best bench, which I hit recently, 330 pounds. My best deadlift, also recently, 585 pounds. So that's a little bit about me. Now let's dive into this video. But yeah, so before we really get into this video, this applies to the USAPL and the USAPL only. It is the only federation that I associate with because it's one of the only federations that is purely drug-free. It's drug tested through and through. They have no undrug tested division. So that's why it has my full support. This might apply to other other powerlifting federations, but I can't speak for them. I can only speak for the USAPL. Very first mistake I see people make is in choosing their weight class. They choose a weight class in which they think they'll be most competitive in. And now there's nothing wrong with being competitive. The problem is most people choose a lighter weight class because they see that the numbers are smaller. And so they move into that weight class or attempt to move into that weight class by dieting or cutting. And I think this is a huge problem for your first meet. One, because I think it ruins your competitive edge. Because as you diet, you lose strength. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And depending on how fast, rapidly, whatever you want to call it, you do it, you're going to end up hurting your total in the long run. And this is just going to make the overall experience for you crappy. So my advice to you would be, just be you. Whatever you weigh, find the weight class closest to that, maybe within a pound or two, and choose it. Equipment. You have no idea how many people fail to bring the right equipment or they bring the wrong equipment to the meet. So I'm gonna link below the requirements for the USAPL or the standards they set for the equipment. Make sure you read over it because that's a pretty big deal. Know what you need to bring. That means knowing which belt to bring. You're not allowed to bring a Velcro belt. I can go ahead and tell you that one. You're not allowed to bring a belt that has padding in it. So those little cheap Gold's Gym or Harbinger belts that you can buy at like Walmart, not gonna cut it, bro. You're not gonna be able to use the belt. As for the rest of the equipment, make sure you check the link below so that you show up prepared and ready to rock and roll. Because you have no idea how bad that can affect your performance when you show up and then you get flustered because you're not allowed to use the belt or whatever that you brought to the meet. All right, you have to have knee-high socks to deadlift in the USAPL. This just protects from the bar scraping your shin and you passing blood to someone else. Because we all use the same bar, and that's not cool, bro. Make sure you have knee-high socks. If you don't, you will not be allowed to deadlift. Also, you cannot deadlift in socks, meaning you have to have a shoe with a sole on it. You can get deadlift slippers. That's about the bare minimum. You have to have a sole on the bottom of the shoe. Other thing, the shirt that you wear under your singlet. Yes, you have to wear a shirt under your singlet to squat and to bench. Deadlift, I don't think so. Women have to wear a shirt at all times. It's a sexist sport, get over it. But the shirt that you wear, it can't be spandex. It can't have the women's cut. I mean, you can't have like the one that like, you know, cuts nice and shows off the delts for the females. You can't have that. It's gotta be a full sleeve. It's gotta come down past the shoulder. And like I said, it just needs to be something simple. Just keep it like a cotton t-shirt. Doesn't need to have any spandex in it. And okay. And it can have writing on it, but the writing can't be vulgar or provocative. So we keep it clean up in the USAPL. Oh yeah, and underwear. Fellas, this really applies to you. I don't think it applies as much to women, but I'm a man, so I can't really speak too much on that. Anyways, Men, you have to wear briefs, meaning you have to have whitey tighties. It cannot be spandex, it have to be cotton, they can't be anything like super fancy, but it has to be whitey tighties, aka briefs. You cannot wear boxers, you cannot wear compression shorts. Make sure you know that. Don't show up with the wrong underwear. You will not be allowed to compete. Lineup and flights. So the lineup is basically, you give your first attempts. Usually it's the night before, the morning of, like when you weigh in, something like that. You give your first attempts. The attempts you're gonna take first. Go figure. And then they set an order in which it goes from lightest to heaviest. So that way when they load the bar, they're not like taking a bunch of plates on and off. It's just basically adding weight up, if that makes sense. So you need to know what the lineup is and where you fall within that lineup so that you know when you need to warm up, when you need to get start getting amped up for your set, if you like to chalk up your back or your hands or whatever. You need to make sure you know where you fall in the lineup so that you know when it's your turn to go out or it's your turn to be ready to go out. So this would include like making sure you have the proper time to warm up and all of that kind of stuff. Because if you're the first in the lineup, you have a lot less time to warm up than the last person in the lineup. Make sense? Okay. Secondly, you need to understand what a flight is, because this is how the USAPL runs things. So they run flights. So you have the lineup, which is basically an order of 1 through 10, and then you'll have a flight, which is usually a letter, like A, B, C, or D. Okay, that flight will dictate where you are. So flight A will attempt all 3 of their attempts at that single lift. So if you're on squats, flight A will attempt all 3 attempts. So we'll go through first attempts, second attempts, third attempts for the squat, and then flight B will come up and do the same thing. So if you're in flight C, you know you have a while to be warming up. And also pay attention to the guy with the microphone, because usually they will let you know when you need to warm up. They'll usually give you like a 10-minute heads up or something like that. But if you're one of those people that just take a while to get warm, you just need to stay ready. Attempt selection. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people mess this up. Always, always, always be conservative. If you go for a PR and you miss it, that can make the difference between you winning and losing, or you qualifying for Raw Nationals, or you're not qualifying for Raw Nationals. Do you understand? Be conservative. Just understand that you're out there to do your best, not to necessarily beat someone else. But you need to understand your attempt selection. Okay, so you need to basically have your attempts prepared in your mind. If that means writing them down, like I think for my first attempt I can do this, for my second attempt I can do this, for my third attempt I can do this, and then basing that judgment off of how your first attempt went. Did you get the first attempt? If not, repeat. Did you get your second attempt? If not, repeat. Always repeat a lift that you miss. But understand this, you have 1 minute to turn in your next attempt, or they automatically bump you up 2.5 kilos, or basically 5 pounds. So have your attempt selection. If you fail, you repeat no matter what. I don't care if it was easy, I don't care if it was because you rushed the rack command. If you fail, you repeat. Unless you have a coach and they instruct you otherwise. But then again, most of these things they would tell you, I would hope. Food! Being at a powerlifting meet is kind of weird. A lot of people think like it's gonna be over really quick. You gotta think about this. If there are 50 people that each get 9 lifts, they each get 1 minute to complete each lift, and then like weight's gotta be put on the bar, taken off the bar, this, that, and the other. You gotta think that's a lot of time that's gonna go by, which means more than likely you're gonna be there from sun up to sundown. So be prepared, have enough food with you, and make sure that food is light on your stomach, because you don't want to on the platform. Also, just pro tip, like some Gatorade is great, because a lot of people cramp, especially if like you disregarded that first thing that I told you and you water cut for your meat. Have some Gatorade, get some electrolytes in you, get some Pedialyte, whatever that might be, but stay hydrated. I can't tell you enough, stay hydrated. Pro tip, be careful how much caffeine you consume and how often you consume that caffeine. And the very last one is have fun. Understand that you are competing not against anyone else. You're competing to put up your best numbers. Your competition is what you see in the mirror. It's you. And I know that's like really cliche. It's you versus you, bro. But it really is. You're out there to have fun, to compete, to see if you like the aspect of powerlifting outside of just training, if you like the competition. This is why I mentioned the other thing, or the very first thing, is the cutting thing. You have no idea if you're actually gonna like competing in powerlifting. So to cut down into a weight class and make yourself miserable to just not like it would really suck. So remember, you're out there to have fun, meet a bunch of people. This is a great opportunity for networking if you have a social media, or if you just want to find more people that do the same thing you do, that have the same passions, powerlifting, right? We're a community. So remember, have fun. You're out there to do your best. And that's it. There's no crying in powerlifting. Actually, I cry all the time. I'm a baby. All right, so that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Comment below if you have more ideas for videos like these. If you have any more questions or want me to go more in depth on something that I spoke on in this video, just leave a comment down below. Remember to hit that thumbs up button because it helps me out a lot. Oh yeah, and we're gonna do something on Facebook. So if you're not following me on Facebook, definitely go do that. Just search for the Muscular Nerd, because we're gonna do a giveaway with this video. All right, that's it. Bye. I'm not Brandon Campbell, but I came pretty darn close to one take wonder over here.